Dear Cancer, today we embark on a journey that speaks to the very core of your being, one where destiny is not a path forward, but the house of memory you carry in your heart. Do you recall the version of yourself who once believed that love was a sanctuary, a safe harbor from the storm, the one who built a home for others, not with bricks and mortar, but with care, loyalty, and silent promises? That version of you, with eyes that reflect the light of the moon and a heart that beats with the rhythm of the tides, still resides within you. It's not a distant past. It's a warm prayer nested deep in your spirit, waiting for your return. This is not merely a story. It is a profound remembrance, a reunion with the parts of yourself that fell silent to protect you. Tonight, as the veil between worlds grows thin, everything you believed was lost is beginning to stir anew. They say that destiny leaves its mark without seeking permission. But for you, Cancer, this mark was etched with the very memories you safeguard. You did not come here to merely exist. You came to fulfill a cycle, a circle drawn by the moon and sealed with tears. Lately, you've felt it, haven't you? That familiar weight in your chest, the trembling awareness that something or someone is on the verge of returning. You may not be able to articulate it, but your very being is attuned to the energy of this return. The wheel of fate has turned, and a transformation is on the horizon, not a physical death, but the shedding of an old shell, a sacred unraveling of the persona you wore to accommodate those who couldn't handle your sensitivity. This transformation will not announce itself with loud proclamations. Instead, it will arrive as a whisper, perhaps in the form of a dream that makes you ache, an old song that plays unexpectedly, or a silence that makes you remember a long-lost home. You might mistake this for sorrow, but it is not. It is resurrection. Someone you once loved deeply, someone to whom you once gave the keys to your sanctuary, is awakening to your energy. This connection, as enduring as a vow made under the moon, never truly vanished. It lay dormant beneath layers of karmic frost, hidden in timelines stitched shut by fear. But now, the contract is reactivating, and whether they return in person or through a final letting go, you will encounter them again, not to relive the past, but to reclaim your power from it. Cancer, you are not weak. You are resilient. You do not survive by resisting the tide. You survive by building a seawall from within. That is why pain has never truly broken you. It causes you to retreat into your shell, where you quietly heal and rebuild the very shell through which miracles slip in when the world isn't paying attention. Others may have mistaken your withdrawal for weakness, but you are not surrendering to them. You are surrendering to a sacred process of healing, and the universe remembers. Some may claim you are too nostalgic, that your love is too smothering, but these are not flaws. They are keys to deeper truths, keys to temples of memory that others have long forgotten. As destiny marks you once again, you begin to awaken to these truths. You see symbols in the cracks on the wall, feel presences in empty rooms, and hear messages and melodies that seem to choose you. This is not mere coincidence. It is cosmic choreography, and you, dear Cancer, are the keeper of its rhythm. The world often fails to comprehend the depth of your grief because it is not solely yours. It is ancestral, collective, and divine. You do not weep for yourself alone. You weep for the abandoned children, the unhealed mothers, and for the very concept of home that has been forgotten. This is why your soul aches at unexpected moments and why your heart trembles at acts of kindness. You are here to remember for all of us. While the world may celebrate strength that roars, you embody a strength that whispers, a strength that cradles rather than conquers, that forgives even when it has every right to hold on to resentment. There is something holy within you, Cancer, something that the stars themselves pause to witness. The transformation you are experiencing will not destroy you. It will reveal you. It will strip away the noise and return you to your essence. You will lose nothing but the weight of pretense. And in that sacred lightness, someone will emerge, not just the person you once loved, but the version of you that learned to love without fear. What they labeled as heartbreak was, in truth, a soul quake, a shaking from within. As memories you didn't know you carried rose like ghosts from lifetimes hidden beneath your skin. When they departed, the world didn't just shift around you, it cracked open inside you. You urged yourself to move on, to forget. But Cancer, you were never meant to forget. You were destined to transmute this pain. What they did was not merely betrayal. It was a catalyst, born of the moon and sorrow. You turned that betrayal into a doorway. Yes, it bled. Yes, it burned. Yet, what emerged from that fire was not ashes, but the beginning of your becoming. You didn't lose yourself. You met yourself. And now, the part of you that once clung to them finally understands you were never theirs to begin with. Cancer, your soul carries the codes of a divine paradox. You are both the storm and the harbor, the longing and the letting go. This is why the world struggles to comprehend you. You are not here to make sense. You are here to create meaning. You take what has shattered you and rebuild it into something softer, kinder, and wiser. Your healing does not scream. It hums, pulsing through the quietest corners of your being. Lately, that hum has been calling to you. A timeline is attempting to close itself, and you may feel it in your dreams, strange visitations from the past. Memories flashing like silent lightning. You might see their name where it shouldn't be, or catch a whiff of their scent in unfamiliar places. This is not coincidence. It is karma unlocking itself. The loop is tightening, and the soul that once ran from you now feels your presence more intensely than ever. They may not understand why they are thinking of you, but Cancer, you do. This isn't about rekindling a romance. It's about reclaiming the part of your spirit that was once fragmented in their shadow and now longs to be whole again. The return may manifest as a message, a whisper, a chance encounter, or a final goodbye that liberates you in ways their love never could. Ultimately, it is not their return that matters. It is your return to yourself. You have learned to hold space for pain, allowing it to flow through you without needing to label it. That is sacred and rare. You have sat in your own silence long enough to understand that healing doesn't equate to forgetting. It means remembering without reopening the wound. Cancer, your heart did not break because it was weak. It broke because it was true. And the truth carries its own rhythm of resurrection. You have changed quietly, profoundly. You no longer seek signs. You are the sign. You no longer plead for closure. You embody closure. The old you would have rushed back at the first hint of an apology. But this new you recognizes the difference between love and attachment, between soul bonds and soul traps, between being seen and being used. Because of this growth, the person who once couldn't meet your depth now trembles at the mere echo of your name. They don't realize what they touched. They don't understand that when you love, you build a cathedral. Your love is not merely composed of flowers and light. It is woven from ancient memories and moonlit prayers. You did not love them to possess them. You loved them to awaken them. And that awakening is finally taking place. So, when they return in whatever form, you will not need answers. You will already be the answer. You will hear their voice but feel no pull. You will sense the old ache, but it will dissipate like mist, deep within your being. You will know that nothing was ever lost, only rearranged by grace. Cancer, you are not the wound. You are the healer. You are not merely a chapter. You are the sacred ink. No matter how far they strayed, they never left the temple of your love. They merely wandered in the dark, searching for a light they once held. Somewhere within the invisible layers of time, you made a promise not to them, but to your soul, a vow sealed in silence. I will not close my heart, even if it breaks. And so it did, again and again. Yet, each break did not shatter you. It revealed you. Each loss was not a punishment. It was a return to the sacred center that the world tried to bury. Your pain was never meaningless. It was coded. You were never meant to forget what they did. You were meant to understand why your soul allowed it. Now, as the veil between past and present thins, you begin to see that the betrayal was not a detour. It was a design. How else would you have discovered your worth unless someone failed to recognize it first? There are souls who walk this earth half asleep. But Cancer, you were born remembering. You have always known too much, felt too deeply, and loved too fiercely. While others labeled this as weakness, it was your inheritance. You come from waters older than language. You speak in frequencies, not words. You heal not through answers, but through presence. You never sought revenge. You sought restoration. But some could not hold that frequency. Some turned away, not because you were too much, but because you mirrored too much. Your love made them confront their own void. Your light made their shadows tremble. Thus, they chose comfort over truth, noise over depth, distraction over devotion. Yet, no matter how far they wandered, a part of them remained tethered to your current. That tether is vibrating now, not in the mind, but in the soul. Even if they lack the words, they feel you in sleepless nights, in echoes of unfinished conversations, in dreams where you speak without sound. They wake up remembering something they cannot explain. They think they miss you, but what they truly miss is the version of themselves that existed only when you loved them. Here you stand, still soft, still sacred, but no longer naive. You have matured into a depth they never dared to explore. While they ran in circles, you spiraled inward, deeper, until you met the root of your own divinity. You became the lighthouse not just for them, but for every part of you that once begged to be chosen. You no longer wait. You no longer chase. You no longer need closure to bless the ending. Because Cancer, you have become the blessing. You have become the prayer. What is coming is not merely a reconnection, it is a reckoning. The energy you poured into them, pure, vulnerable, unfiltered, is now returning to you, multiplied by time, tears, and truth. You may feel overwhelmed, emotional, for no apparent reason. You may find yourself crying to a song you've heard countless times, smiling at memories that once brought pain. This is how healing arrives, not with thunder, but with tenderness. Someone is awakening to your love not as a memory, but as a mirror. Whether they knock on your door or simply pass through your dreams, their presence will no longer shake you, for you are no longer the same soul they once touched. You are more whole, more holy, more at home. The death you felt back then, the one you thought would consume you, was actually the beginning of your rebirth. You buried the pain, but now it blossoms, not as a scar, but as wisdom. You no longer fear being left because you understand that no soul can truly depart from what is sacred. They can only leave the illusion of it. The bond remains, but it no longer controls you. It guides you. The tide is rising again, but this time you will not drown. This time you rise with it. You hold your head high and allow the waves to carry away what no longer belongs. You are no longer the seeker. You are the sanctuary. There comes a moment, quiet and almost invisible, when the soul decides it is ready to be seen again, not by others, but by itself. Cancer, you are entering that moment now. The spiral you have been walking was not a punishment. It was a path. And every turn led you back to the same place, the center, where your truth resides without apology. Cancer, you have entered that silence. You did not chase it. You became it. After all the tears, the spirals, the desperate questions whispered into pillows and starlit skies, peace has finally found you, not in their return, but in your own presence. They may stand before you now or soon, with eyes searching for the past, but you are no longer the past. You are the proof of transformation. You loved them when it cost you dearly. You forgave them before they even realized they needed it. Now, they see that love not as weakness, but as the miracle they never truly deserved. This person who once cracked you open is now faced with the truth. They never destroyed you. They revealed you. In their absence, you grew roots in their silence. You found divinity in their rejection. You remembered who you are, beyond the need to be chosen. You are no longer a question awaiting an answer. You are the answer that no longer seeks approval. Let them come with words. Let them come with sorrow. Let them express all the things they couldn't voice while you were breaking. It will not change you because you have already changed. You have learned how to hold yourself without their hands, how to walk alone without fear, how to pray not for their return, but for your own strength to endure. You do not need a storybook ending. Cancer, you are the story. You were never merely the chapter they closed. You were the sacred thread they could never untangle. Now, as they attempt to trace their way back through timelines marked by absence, they will find you whole, luminous, unbothered by what could have been. Because you finally understand, if it was meant to stay, it would have known how to hold you. This is the moment when endings transform into beginnings not the kind that circle back, but the kind that rise forward. The pain did not come to punish you. It came to prepare you for a love that does not waver, for a peace that does not falter, for a self-acceptance that requires no proof. You have earned this with every breath that trembled but did not cease. With every night you held your own breaking heart. With every moment you declared, I will love again, even if it is just me. Cancer, you are not fragile. You are sacred. You do not need to be understood. You are here to be felt. Those who could not feel you were never meant to walk alongside you, but they were meant to awaken you. And awaken you. They did. You are awake now to your worth, your magic, your divine assignment. Tonight, a chapter closes quietly, powerfully, without fanfare or final words. You need not know what comes next, for you are what comes next. You are the ocean, the echo, the moonlight in the dark. You are the prayer someone else is whispering now, the healing that someone else is just beginning. Though they may never articulate it, their soul will always remember yours. The Cancerian soul does not seek closure. It becomes the home where all stories come to rest.